have to ask about After Darth because
Yes.
it just go ahead and explain what that is and
Okay.
kind of what went on.
So before the New Hope, wait, no, sorry, not New Hope. Which is the first? What's the
Force
first one
Awakens.
called? Force Awakens. Before Force Awakens
Mhm.
comes out,
Which is
About
kind of
a
like a
year-
New Hope, by the way. A lot of people say.
yes, yeah. It was so funny. I was watching it last night. I was like, I really can see it now. I watched them almost back to back. About a year before, we get word that the people at Disney are nervous that people don't remember Star Wars. So they want to create some sort of a viral web-based show that will kind of get Star Wars more in the zeitgeist. It was already a flawed concept. It was like, people don't forget Star Wars, but they wanted to involve TikTokers and YouTubers and kind of just find a way to like get Star Wars back into the mix. So back in the day when I was at the Upright Citizens Brigade, which is a comedy theater in New York, improv and sketch started by Amy Poehler and Matt Walsh and Ian Roberts and Matt Besser. I did this show called the Darth Vader Talk Show, and it was me as Darth Vader hosting a talk show, and we did it for the premieres of every Star Wars film. Right, we did it every of the prequel trilogy, and it was just like dumb bits, just people coming out. I would be Darth Vader, very traditional talk show host. So when this mandate came down, I was approached like, do you have any ideas on how to package a funny way of doing Star Wars? And I had been approached by Celebration at one point to bring that Darth Vader talk show to Celebration. I was like, I don't know if that fits. I just feel like I don't want to piss off anybody because it was very comedy forward, not Star Wars forward. Right. So I go, well, I did this show called the Darth Vader Talk Show. And they're like, great, we want to do it. And I was like, okay. So they built the throne room from Return of the Jedi, and we put a wooden desk in there. And I had my Darth Vader costume on, and I did a talk show from space. And all of our guests were comedians and YouTubers. Emperor Palpatine was the band leader. He, he sat in with a bunch of people who looked like they were out of like Max Rebo's band. And I was co-hosting with my brother, who was like a guy in a Hawaiian shirt that had a little bit of a Darth Vader helmet, but not the face mask. And it was just like dumb, funny bits. And because it was under the Disney and Disney Star Wars mold, we could use any costume, do anything. And we had people come in with bits. We wrote bits, and it was so funny. We did a 30 for 30 about Anakin racing pod racer, the pod racers, and we had like we shot it really beautifully. We did a sketch which was like we were in the New Hope when they're hiding from the stormtroopers in the Millennium Falcon, and everyone blames their farts on Chewie because no one can understand Chewie. Like, he keeps on trying to defend himself. We had I introduced Lobot, and Lobot loves to dance, and Lobot just did breakdancing for his entire segment. I brought out like Amidala, and just Amidala's courtesan, like her, and just was asking questions like, does she talk about me? What does she say? So it was like all these like really fun, dumb bits. What's the weather like in Bespin? It's cloudy. And it was just, it was done with a lot of love, and it was never mean spirited, but it was a super fun show. And I guess what had happened was, I'm gonna leave out some names because I don't want to get myself in trouble. Somebody high up in the Star Wars world had heard that we were doing this, and I guess it was not run by them, and went in to the head of Disney and said, what the F are you doing? Like, we don't know. Star Wars is not funny. Star Wars does not do this. And from what I understand, and I'm talking out, I understand that in that meeting, not only was our show killed, even though we shot all the episodes and they were all edited, so was Darth Vader breakdancing at Disneyland. That was pulled because like, he'll never breakdance again. He won't do the Macarena. There'll be no more dancing Darth Vader. Right. And I also heard that the Family Guy DVDs were we no more. Like it was a wholesale moment of no, we
Wow.
are controlling this and we are going forward in a very, we're pushing it out in the right way. And look, there was an idea of like, let's wrangle the narrative. I understand that from a certain point of view. But that was it. Everything that was like Anakin killing all those young Jedi students. It was like just coming in,
Wholesale,
just slashing
done.
wholesale.
Well, and it's easy to
yeah.
understand that was probably what happened with Detours as well, which was another, similar situation, that comedy, Seth Green, the folks that were involved in that.
And George Lucas.
Yeah.
I mean, right. He was involved.
Yeah.
I think it's a bummer because there's something really precious, and I don't think that it should be so precious. Like I think it's like, again, Star Wars was like this poppy, campy, fun thing that became something big. And look, there's religions around it. People can speak certain languages. They want to understand it. And that's all fine. But again, going back to that creator thing, like you should have a lot of different people painting with that. It's just, look, there are a million different churches in the world. The way that people will preach and tell you how to, the same thing, they're working off the same Bible, but they'll present it in a myriad of different ways. And I feel like that's the best thing in the Marvel world, and that's the best thing in the Star Wars world, when you get a clear, clean voice making something. It may hit or it may miss, but it won't feel muddled. And when it feels muddled, that's to me the worst Star Wars, where it feels like a lot of fingers in there.
And I not to be too cheesy and quote Princess Leia from A New Hope, but the tighter your grip, the more will slip through your fingers, right? And I think that
100%.
if Star Wars could laugh at itself, I think you would sort of peel off that top layer of people who are taking it too seriously, right? The people who are causing some of the challenges within fandom, because they are still like, no, that's not canon, and that's not what I remember from being a kid. But if you can have fun with it, like the Lego shows do, I think that's why me and my son love watching the Lego shows, because they're freaking funny. It's just
right. We love this world. It's like
right.
It's like, and I think that's the thing. It's like I think you just have to allow it to be whatever it wants to be. Like I think